you have to be really intentional about putting a team together.
I was in!
Crawled out of the pile and started screaming.
How good is Joey Bosa?
Rolling, looking, throwing, end zone, touchdown!
It's intercepted. Derwin James. Derwin was there.
You got to be on a mission every day in the NFL. But even more than that, you got to be on a mission together.
Great hands, Keenan Allen.
The Los Angeles Chargers select Rashawn Slater.
Asante Samuel Jr.
Stop! Oh, I'm stopping y'all boys. That's gonna get me.
Intercepted, picked up by Michael Davis.
Explosion, explosiveness from Eckler.
There's Murphy. Boy, he blew that up, didn't he? It is picked off. Nasir Adderley. 50-50 ball is 100%. Mike Williams.
Ochena Nwosu. And that will end it.
Time to bolt up.
Welcome to another episode of Chargers Unleashed. Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at LAC_Unleashed. If you're looking for year-round Chargers content, special guest episodes, be sure to subscribe to Chargers Unleashed on YouTube and hit those bell notifications. And wherever you find your podcast, subscribe there too. This episode is brought to you by Brewery X in Anaheim, UFC Fit in Temecula, and Chargers Bolt family. I can't wait to get into this episode. You do not have any idea what's coming up next. Let's get right into it. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome and thank you for checking us out. The team just beat the vaunted Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, and now we've got a primetime matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Today we're going to bring in a very special guest that knows a thing or two about these division rivals. The pride of Missouri City in Texas. He's got a knack for bursting onto the scene. Fun fact, was a Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year at the University of Oklahoma. Fast forward to the NFL. First season of the NFL ends up being voted the 2020 All-Rookie Team as a member of your Los Angeles Chargers. Wearing the single digit on defense, K9 Kenneth Murray joins Chargers Unleashed. Kenneth, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am doing good. Look, side note, we talked about it a little offline. Personally, man to man, your story and your whole family is inspiration to a lot of people. I wish more people had your perspective and leading by example and just like the overall gratitude that I think you share with a lot of folks. How are your siblings? How are your parents doing?
Everybody's doing good. We can't complain. We're blessed. So, everything's good right now.
Good. Go ahead. Thanks for doing this. Super excited. Got lots to talk about, including the upcoming Raiders matchup in prime time. Talk about the new Chargers defense, getting to know you a little bit more off the field. So let's get into it. First player interview we've had on the show since this season has started. Team is off to a positive start, 2-1. Could very well be 3-0 heading into this week. Lots have been said from folks inside and outside the building about how different this team feels versus years past. For you, Kenneth, what fundamental differences do you see in this team's identity or style versus last year when you played here?
I'd probably say one of the biggest things that I see, it's kind of something that we couldn't avoid last year, but was just, the whole COVID thing. That was something that big that we had to deal with. And, we had a bunch of obstacles being able to get around that just to play football in general. So that was like one of the biggest things that you can see from, last year to this year is just how more connected we are as a team because now you don't have those protocols. You're able to be around guys a lot more and actually be kind of a team. So that's what it feels like. It feels like, this team is a team and, guys care about each other and guys come in with a great attitude and it's just different. It definitely, from my experience, my only experience being last year in COVID, it's definitely different.
Now, you got the offseason behind you, 3 preseason games in, 3 regular season games. What's been like the learning curve for you going into this season from your rookie season under Gus Bradley's scheme? Like now you got a new scheme, Brandon Staley, Ronaldo Hill. Like for you personally, like what are the biggest differences or what's some of the bigger takeaways you've gotten for the coaching staff about this new scheme?
Yeah, it's definitely, been a learning curve, obviously, with both because, you go from learning one scheme and this scheme is kind of completely different. So you got to learn this scheme as well. and become comfortable with it. I think for me, I'm growing right now. I'm going through some growth, and just trying to get better every time I step on the football field. I think obviously being a young player and coming in and having to learn, I think it's inevitable for me to face some type of growth and go out there and attack it. So I think that's where I'm at right now with the scheme and with the team, and just really just trying to learn and get better and continue to develop into the guy that I know I can be.
Yeah, and I just thought of this as we were talking. Last year, the Chargers obviously traded up to get you. They traded with the New England Patriots. And then fast forward, you go and have the game of the year for yourself against the Patriots. Was there like a backstory behind that? Like, this team traded away their opportunity to have me. I got to take it to them. Like, what was the main reason why that ended up coming into fruition where you just balled out all over the place?
Nah, I wouldn't say it was any of that. I think it was just kind of a collective of just getting better every week. And that week we kind of had a pretty simple game plan, so I was able to really just hone in on just playing football and just going out there and flying around. And I think that's really what I went into it that week. It wasn't any I got to show out because the Patriots. To be honest, I didn't even know that they traded that pick. I didn't know what team it was, so there wasn't no animosity or anything like that. It just really just came down to just getting better every week. And that week we had a pretty simple game plan. I was able to just go out there and capitalize.
We're talking to K9, Kenneth Murray, number 9 on your Los Angeles Chargers. Recently, Brandon Staley had a press conference, and he talked about this idea of being programmed for the defenders to kind of see more versus seeing less in schemes or in years past, and like expanding what individual players are responsible for diagnosing on defense. Like, tactically, like, what does that mean for you and like the rest of the defense? Like, what does that mean for you guys, like, on the field, by having to kind of be programmed to see more versus less?
Well, I feel like it's just literally exactly what he said it is just being able to see more. Them putting more on our plates. A lot of times, within our scheme, depending on certain formations, we check, different calls. So, the call may come in and there may be 3 different play calls. And, one call is designed for whatever formation that they're in at the time. So, if they line up in this formation, we run this. If they line up in this formation, we run this. If they line up in this different formation, we run this.
Whoa.
So, you have to be able to think through a lot and process through a lot with a little bit of time, and then go out there and play ball. So it's definitely, I think that's definitely what he means by it. It's definitely something that can help us get in the right call, because a lot of times offenses are trying to motion and do different things to get us out of whack. So it's definitely something that can be a weapon for us.
Now, just like put it in like layman's terms. So like, let's say last year, let's say like from 1 to 10, how difficult was that scheme or was that position for you to grasp versus this year? Like 1 to 10 scale, how easy or hard has it been year over year?
I feel like last year was harder. I wouldn't say primarily because of the scheme. I just think, kind of what you're specifically being asked to do in like Gus Bradley's defense. It's a lot, put on the linebackers. When you run the cover 3 scheme, a lot of times the linebackers are asked to play the weak hook and the strong hook and run with, the over routes and different things like that. And for me, that was something that I wasn't used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, over the course of the season last year, working hard with those guys, I was able to, adapt and continue to get better. But I feel like, the scheme that I'm in now, like I said, we have a bunch of different checks and different things like that, but it's kind of more simpler once you get the play call and you get that check in, then it's like, okay, like calm. I don't really feel, too antsy about, a receiver screaming down and I got to run with it. So.
Got it. All right, so let's talk about this Raiders matchup. We got Raiders, always electric, division rivals, going to prime time versus the 3-0 Raiders. Technically, they are statistically the best passing offense in the NFL. What about the Raiders team do you think is so hard for opposing defenses to defend against?
I think they have a really good job of, you know, doing what they do. They motion a lot. They like to move the formation around. They may start in one formation and then motion to a completely different formation. A lot of times that's for the quarterback to be able to see what you're in and see, what kind of defense that you're in, and be able to get to the play that is successful versus that defense. So I think for us it's going to be pivotal for us to just hold our disguises and continue to stay in the fight throughout the game.
Got a few more questions here before we get into some rapid fire questions to get to know Kenneth a little bit off the field. Now, I think you probably are in this boat, but I think Chargers fans and probably a lot of people in that building have been dying to see what this defense would look like with a healthy Derwin James, Kenneth Murray, Drew Tranquill, Joey Bosa, Asante Samuel. You got Nasir Adderley playing. Like, what have you seen from this defense that maybe has impressed you most? And if there was one spot where you wish the defense was better, what would you pick?
I feel like we just have so much potential. I think that's what's the most exciting about us. Is that we have so many guys that can play, and so many guys that can go out there and be difference makers. So it's so much potential, with so much greatness out there on the field. I think for us, it's just really just honing in on that and capitalizing on that and having that mindset that having potential isn't enough, and just really going out there and fulfilling that potential that everybody sees in us. So I think that's what we're doing right now. We've 3 weeks into the season. It's obviously been bumps and roads, which is expected. Anytime you play a football game, and so we're trying to get better, and we're trying to continue to strive to be the best.
What is it about, if we go into Monday night, what is it that you, like in your opinion, what is it that you and the team will need to have done in order to secure a victory Monday night? Like, what are the keys to beating the Raiders?
I think defensively it just comes down to us holding our disguises. I think offensively and defensively it just comes down to us making them play on our terms. And not, letting them play on, not us playing on their terms. I think that's kind of where, it happens, is when you end up, a guy motions here, and now all of a sudden, everything is all out of whack, and now we're not playing on our terms, we're playing on their terms, and now we're trying to figure out what call to get in and different things like that. So it's just being calm and going out there and keeping the main thing. Football is football, so I always come down to blocking and tackling. So
I will say we had Chargers team reporter Chris Harry on the show with us recently, and he had mentioned the one difference that he saw was, like, in this game against Kansas City, for example, like, the team played on their terms. Like, you guys dictated kind of how you wanted this game to be run, and you went out and won it. And I think a lot of times people take that for granted. So if we could do that, I'm down for that again. Now, fun story. I don't know how many people know about this, but I saw that when you were in high school, you wrote a list out of all of your football goals before you even got into college, hung it up on your wall, and basically kind of used that as like a target board. And things like becoming a freshman All-American and becoming All-American, becoming team captain. And like, as you accomplish them, you set your eyes on them, and you just kind of check them off, check. Fast forward, now you're in the NFL. Do you have an NFL goals list that you're working on? Like, what are some of those goals you have for yourself, and where is the list?
I've written the list down. It's at my house. It's always at my house. I even usually have a copy of it in my locker, just to remind me of where I'm going. But I think for me, it's just obviously I want to be a great player in this league. I want to go down as one of the best linebackers ever to play, and that's just how I see it. I want to just go down as one of the greats. Whenever the greats' names are mentioned, I want my name to be mentioned, and I want to have a seat at that table. And so obviously, Pro Bowl, All Pros, is definitely something I want to be. I want to be a Super Bowl champion, multiple Super Bowl champion, and I want to go to Hall of Fame. I think ultimately, one of my biggest goals is just my mindset of just being the baddest man on the field every time I step on the field, I think, that mindset and having that work ethic will give me everything I just mentioned.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like people talk about like K9. I heard the story how like you were looking originally for number 2 when you were in Oklahoma, and that wasn't available, and you're like, I don't care, just give me some single digit, and I'll go out and do it. And then K9 came without you, playing like a dog, and everybody seen your aggressiveness. That mentality and that leadership, I think that drive, I think is kind of what sets your sights and being able to kind of just take it one by one and going after that. And I think a lot of people, not just in football, but in general in life, could use more of those lists and those goals to kind of seek after. We're talking to Kenneth Murray, your middle linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers. We're wrapping things up. Kenneth, are you down for a couple rapid fire questions before we get out of here to get to know you a little bit?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right, so you're most likely the best football player in your family. I think that's safe to say. But what are some things that either your parents or siblings would dominate you off the field?
Absolutely nothing.
Your parents and siblings can't beat you anything.
No, I don't. No.
Love it. You're not competitive at all. We heard the nickname K9 since you've been in Oklahoma. What other nicknames have you had throughout your life?
To be honest, that was it. I used to ask myself that as like a kid coming up through like high school and middle school. I thought, like, I need a nickname. Like everybody had a nickname. I'm like, like I'm tired of just being called Kenneth. Like everybody would call me Kenneth. And I thought that was like so like proper. Like I was like, that doesn't sound cool. I mean, I got to college and got one of the baddest nicknames ever. So
Yep.
I guess the wait was worth it.
For folks who you don't like Kenneth, it sounds like, what do people call you if it's not K9? Like, do people call you Kenny? Do people call you Ken? Kenneth? Like, what do you go by?
Kenny, Ken, all of that is good. I mean, my family calls me Kenny.
All right, I'm gonna start calling you Ken, formerly known as Kenneth and Kenny. We'll see where it goes. Okay, let's talk food. We know you're a big Sooners fan, horns down, obviously. My family actually has some people that went to UT, so I'll keep them out of this. Now you're out here in LA. Back in Oklahoma, you got things like fried okra, cornbread, barbecue pork, sausage and gravy, pecan pie. Out here in SoCal, you got like California burritos and acai bowls and fusion restaurants. Which regional cuisine are you taking, Oklahoma or SoCal?
I'm definitely taking the South. Anything from down south, I'm taking over California.
No way.
I'm sorry. Like, we got Whataburger in the South. Like, Whataburger over In-N-Out all day. I'm sorry.
Oh, those are fighting words. Are you okay? Have you done animal style on In-N-Out?
Yeah, I done tried In-N-Out. I'm not gonna lie, In-N-Out since I've been out here, it's grown on me.
Okay.
I can dig it, but I mean, Whataburger is still like I'm a Texas boy. So.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, what are some of Kenneth Murray's hobbies outside of football?
I mean, probably my biggest hobby outside of football is just my love for cars and motorsport. Probably like Formula One, and different things like that. I think, I mean, if I'm not really playing football, I'm either doing something on my car or watching some type of race or doing something that has to do with automotives.
So you're like Ricky Bobby, you like to go fast. If Kenneth Murray was a race car or was a sports car, what sports car would Kenneth Murray be?
I'd definitely be a LaFerrari.
Ooh. He's taking the governor off. He doesn't even care. All right, two more for you. Funniest teammate on offense and defense for the Chargers.
Oh, man, funny. All right, the funniest player on defense definitely has to be Chris Harris. Chris Harris, it keeps me dying. On offense, man, I don't really know. I don't know.
I mean, Keenan Allen's Yasirski. Every time I hear him say that, I just chuckle.
Keenan's hilarious. Yeah, it's real Keenan and Chris. Chris is like on a different, like it's like Chris, like you don't even want to get Chris going because like once Chris is going, it's just pure comedy.
I love it. All right, last one for you. Kenny Murray gets a scoop and score or a pick six. Do you have a dance or celebration plan? Give us a little insight. What can we expect?
Nah, you can probably expect a whole lot of flexing, a whole lot of screaming. I don't know, man. I play with my heart on my sleeve, so I mean, I like to let that out.
I love it. Kenneth Murray, number 9 for your Los Angeles Chargers. Ken, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been awesome. It's amazing to kind of see the progression year over year. I know this defense is something else, and to see just the progression from week 1 to week 3. Can't wait to see you guys out there in prime time. I'll be there at SoFi. Doing anything fun between now and game time?
Watching film.
Love it. Getting better every day. Kenneth, thank you so much for joining us. You're a friend of the show. Welcome anytime. Have a great rest of the afternoon, and good luck on Monday, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Well, that's going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for Kenneth Murray, K9, for coming on to Chargers Unleashed and sitting down with us for a few minutes, sharing some things about him on and off the field. For folks who have not come into the show previously, you darn near picked a great one. Again, you can find us on Twitter at LAC_Unleashed. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Find us on Instagram and anywhere you can get your podcast. Thank you so much. We're actually going to be having a primetime Saturday morning live stream to go over the Raiders preview this coming Monday night. We will be alive tomorrow morning, I believe at 8 or 9, so look out for that. But in the meantime, have a great rest of the afternoon, and we will talk to you next time on Chargers Unleashed.
You have to be really intentional about putting a team together.